Right, so it's still the 16th of April 2025, and people are expressing their paedophilia problem and telling me basically that they can't fancy a woman under the age of 65. I'm going to get fucking nasty about it. Right, someone says he's going to be fucking knifed. Right, Justin getting a smashed out said, sick cunt bash his brains out, should be with Gizmo Lisa, shingles attraction, sick cunt said. Fucking going, you're being raped as a child in your next life, sick cunt said. Dead and being shot said after. HIV syringe in the fuck, HIV syringe coming Justin, kill the fucker said. Head case gonna smash him out. What's the next thing? Basically saying that when they smash me out they're gonna cut my throat. With a sharp object. When I bash him out said, yeah, that's a separate threat, sorry. I knew that was in one of it, but I couldn't remember which one because obviously this was earlier on. You're dead, Justin said. Penis up 8 times loud, M-bike, sorry. Molested a child, just said. Seagull says being knifed, just, ha ha ha. Molested as a kid, just said. Fart smell, breaking in, Justin. Gemma Justin, 32, very, very sad, Justin. Old school paedophile, just old school jungle said. Sorry if I get this a bit muddled up, but I've been on the vodka tonight. I'm a little bit tipsy. Breaking dead meat you are said. Bash him out, dirty said. Paedophile sicko Justin. Black red or whatever. In actual fact, that road's about 5 times busier than what it is usually, so on average I say you get about 100 cars and you're looking at about 500-600 cars this evening for the same time of night when I've gone to the garage to buy some vodka or fags or whatever. There's a car with lights out, sorry. In the midst of that, there's a Tesco lorry parked. So I go to the garage, just past Penmill Station in Yeovil. At the same time, I'm listening to a jungle track on my MP3 player called Rev P 1994 on Impact Records, and the track has a sample from a black woman singer that says "beautiful woman." So it's interesting because I mentioned that Tesco issue quite a lot when it comes to law and that Suncurse and whatever else. Someone takes a photo of me from a window saying you're being fucking shot dead, you pedo. Then there's someone having an argument on the phone. Actually I thought it was, well I don't think it is, because this person's slightly younger, but initially I thought it was Sue from the 94 Club, who's an old lady I speak to at times. Anyway, next bit. Walk into a crowd of people, they photographed me, and I turned my headphones up so I don't know what the threat is when it comes to that, and that takes you to where I am now, but we've got tomorrow to look forward to, so all the trouble and all the problems that are coming tomorrow, which is not far off, about 50 minutes away from midnight, so I'll keep you updated on it. Before I get to mention the sheets, you're being fucking knifed, you're a child rapist, you're being smashed to the fucking floor, you're having your fucking throat and fucking wrists cut. Guys, so I've got to put it with that. I've not even managed to fucking mention the section of the knife shit fucking push. Right, so obviously it's the 17th of the 4th, 25. Right, so let me just find breaking in Leicester Sadie. 6:30 AM the burn-in occurs and it's been very fucking bad all night. He's getting fucking smashed out. Savannah said when that's not my name. Getting a fucking knife in him later said. I don't know if you can make out that. We just had a whole load of threats shouted at me. That's the ending to it, we're having a talk. So let me get onto this sheet, shall we? Justin's having his head smashed in, injecting him with HIV. Justin shoot dead. Girl off of Most Haunted. So sad. Penis up, so loud bike issues. And obviously I'm struggling to breathe as the air is burning my lungs when I breathe. And time to Itchy Bell End and erections. You've had roughly 20 loud bikes. Right, burglary, shoot dead Justin. Justin, you're gone, said. Bird says busting in. And obviously when I go out, we've got a JJ's roll van, black, yellow, red. That's what have I put there? I've forgotten what I've written there. Drains it, started car. Obviously you've got the threat I mentioned. Child molester getting smashed in. Willy up, an itchy bumhole's loud bike. Penis up's a motorbike. Yeovil cycle van. Yellow car, trying to smash me to pieces. 2 people start on me saying, you're being fucking smashed out. You're a fucking child rapist. And saying you're a fucking screwball Liam. But the problem is my name's not Liam. I'm being mistaken as that person as well as Savan. After that I'm photographed. Then 2 more people photographed me. Rough people with New York baseball caps, white clothing, tight style, whatever it is they're fucking wearing. So they're threatening to smash me to fucking pieces and beat me up and saying it's on sexuality and saying you've got to be put in a fucking ambulance and all the rest of it. His mate said I'll smash his fucking legs and arms off. He won't be fucking walking or fucking writing anything down anymore. Obviously they photographed me. Then I had a little remark from an Indian person. Most Indian people don't really give me any trouble. It goes through stages. Back in the time when I was being mistaken as Savan, worse than now. However, it seems to be getting really bad at the moment. Indian people seem to sort of lay off. Most times they just walk past or talk in their own language. But anyway, I'll keep you updated on anything else. Right, so I made it across the field. The road where you can get up to 300 cars sometimes when it's busy, there's only about 80. That's for the whole walk, maybe 100. So that's including me coming from the Yeovil Bridge side to the gate I go up to go into the field. So anyway, when I get to the field, someone says sick cunt robbery. Then someone says you're fucking beef and something else. You're fucking dead, you fucking child molester and fucking woman rapist. Fucking watch it. You're fucking dead. Being fucking shot, something like that said. And then there was another threat which was very similar, but I can't remember the exact wording because obviously I deleted off the previous recording I did, so I've forgotten the actual information that occurred. Because I've got to take it from this recording to write it down because, quite simply, I didn't write it down at the time. Yeah, as far as the road goes, I don't know if I mentioned it already, but you had a blue sexual car, a red car, ambulance, grey sexual car, white, and a Tesco van. Right, so while walking down the path, you had 2 oldish people, quite old, not as old as old age pensioners, but not far off, and they walked past saying, "You're fucking sick." Yeah, you're fucking sick, mate. Fucking sick. You're a fucking throwback. And started going on like that. And then after they passed, they just said, he's sick, he's really fucking sick. So you had that. Then there's like 2 rough types of people. And they started having a bit of a go at me, saying, "You're fucking gone. You're being shot. You ain't going to be around anymore." you're fucking lost, you're fucking gone, something like that. You fucking sad cunt, or something like that. Can't remember the exact term now. Then the person on the bike, not where I'm walking but on the road below, sticks his 2 middle fingers up and starts saying very loudly, "You're being fucking beat up, you're being fucking floored and taken right out, you fucking paedophile, you fucking woman beater." So he said that, well, shouted that, sorry, kind of shouted or said loudly, and then he starts singing to himself, in a way where, you know, sort of making a suggestion of these sorts of threats before whistling, but the whistling is not done in a suggestive way, it's just a random whistle. Then I pass a woman who looks like Gemma Ferguson at Burnham-on-Sea in my direction. It's the same one that said alright to me on 3 occasions going back a couple of years ago when I very first saw her, and it's also the same person that said she's going to be moving while on the phone passing me the other day when I was up here. So she's like a sexual type lady, and she obviously just gave me a dirty look, and I think she said, "You fucking weirdo," as she walked aside to get past. When I first knew her, the first 3 times I saw her, she smiled at me. This is 2 years ago. And on another occasion, she nudged my shoulder and sort of went, and smiled. And then after that, it's like, it started to become slightly less happy. I think it was a bit rainy on that specific day when I saw her. And then obviously she was in a crowd, and the crowd was saying I was Savem when I'm not. And obviously, that's where she turned against me from that time onwards and started making remarks worse than what they are today as well, especially from mid last year onwards. Anyway, there was one more threat. One bearded person passed me saying, "You're fucking going, you're fucking shot, mate, you're fucking you're fucking at it, mate, you're fucking sick, you're fucking..." Started talking like that to himself as he was walking past me. This was a bearded person, but it wasn't as sort of, it's rough, but it's a modern rough accent. It's like got a bit of that accent where they sort of bringing that R out, so raw fucking raw dude, just fucking raw bar, you know, that crappy accent of the middle class or rich modern gangster accent of people that have a good life basically, or have that sort of accent, or have a bit of money behind them, or working class people. After that, I reached a catalytic converter hot point. There was 12 cars, starting off with grey, sexual and white. Sorry, not grey, sexual. Grey and blue, sorry. I'm reading off the sheet now. And red, there were some red cars and white and blue cars. And I think that was it for that. And then obviously I make it to where I am now. Right, so there's been a tractor with a spike on the country lane down there. A dark red car. And I noticed that it's cloudy everywhere else except where I am, so I'm being circled with the sunshine. But the problem is, there's never sex or anything that suggests that there's going to be a replacement to this Lauren cursed sexual painting, and that's going to be very difficult at my age, because people are moaning about my age and telling me that I should be with single mothers and telling me I'm a sick cunt if I don't go with a stale piece of shit that's very used and a single mother. And people were getting very nasty with me last night about that, with threats. I think I mentioned it on the previous recording, or if I didn't read those 2 sheets out, I'll read them on tomorrow's recording to clarify the information content of the threats, because I forgot the pieces of paper, but I think I did actually mention it yesterday. And also you've got to take into account that I've been sexually molested as a child and not been able or been allowed to have sex at the age of when everybody else had sex, and they're trying to hold that restriction on me. So everybody's had sex when they're like teenagers or in their 20s or even in their 30s, and now they're getting funny with me saying that you've got to go with people over the age of 40, or telling me that if you don't have sex with people over the age of 40 then you're really, really fucking sick, and saying you've got to be shot dead, you're a dangerous fucking paedophile and all the rest of it. But the problem is, there are not many good lookers in the age group of 40, and also, or 43, coming up 44, which is my age. And the other thing you've got to take into account is the people that sexually abused me as a child, some of them that is, were actually 20 years younger than what I am today. And I'm being told I'm a sick cunt if I don't go with someone over the age of 40. If we go back a couple of years, a lady on a friendship page told me, this is online, that if you don't go, but basically she said, I'm 35, you sick cunt, you shouldn't be looking at anything or anything to do with ladies of the age of 35, saying you're really fucking sad, mate. So that's when I ripped the Bible up, because obviously when Jesus Christ was crucified he was 33 or 34 and he was no older than that. So I thought, well, religion's gone against me, doesn't then? I don't read religion if I'm being treated like a piece of shit by everybody else. And the other thing I want to mention is you've got to take into account Jesus Christ was in a sexual relationship when he was here on earth, and you also got to take into account these people that are making these threats against me all the time. Most of them are under the age of 40, and you've got to take into account they're in sexual relationships with sexual types of people, and yet they got the nerve to tell me that they're going to knife me down, shoot me dead, inject me with HIV, bash my fucking brains out, rip my fucking arms and legs off, smash me to pieces, fucking cut my wrists and throat, or to claim that I'm a child rapist and woman beater when I haven't had sex in my whole life properly. So I'm not very happy about this, and it's getting a lot more nastier and a lot more violent, especially in the last couple of days since the 14th of April this year. It's just been suddenly kicking off everywhere. So there's been about 150 threats, maybe slightly more than that. Some of them I don't even write down because they're just remarks and I just sort of write the pages down in brief. But yeah, it's getting a lot nastier. And you've got to take into account they are making these people single mothers, and they got the nerve to tell me that I got to go with a used person that's stale, ugly and very old and wrinkly looking while they enjoy sex in their younger years, meaning if I was to go with them, for example, I wouldn't be able to enjoy the sex off of that person that they've been fucking, because obviously they'd have a negative skin, rough skin, when, you know, they had a more of a feminine look at the age of when they had sex with these people. So I basically had my wrist sliced in some ways because they're holding that age against me. But anyway, I want to mention something else. Back to this Lauren curse. So Lauren is kind of similar looking to Kylie Minogue and Britney Spears mixed together. But Britney Spears when she was in her early 20s. But when it comes to Kylie Minogue, when she was about 30ish, or just over 30. But Kylie Minogue still have very smooth skin at that age. And if you were to put those two and combine it into like one image, that would be what Lauren looks like. But not many people would see the same as what I'm seeing when I put the two images together. So other people could see it as different suggestions or suggest different looking or whatever. So what happened was when we go to this sun curse, there's a specific painting. It's got a picture of this lady that looks like Britney Spears and Kylie Minogue mixed together. That's got her legs behind the clouds. They paint her body to make it look like it's really smooth and sexy. So as far as the body type goes, it'd be basically identical to how Britney Spears would have looked, or how her smooth body would have looked when she was, say, at the age of roughly 22, rather than Kylie Minogue. But so she's posing her body in a sexual way, holding her hand out downwards, pushing the hand down in a sexual suggestive way, and the sun is coming out of her hand, being shone down like a spotlight on this chap that's walking down a path, Now this chap is a young chap, but I'm not sure what age it is, but I guess it depends how you look at the picture. And if I remember, he's holding a torch in one hand, he's got a backpack on, and obviously very similar looking to me in some ways when it comes to this person. I initially saw this on the internet in 2015-2016 area. It was a brighter colour version, so it wasn't as clear version, and I just sort of thought of it as being, you know, a painting basically that suggests that lady called Lauren that works in Tesco's, but she doesn't like me. Initially she saw my CD, which I lean my pages against to write down my daily problems, and is asking if anyone wants friendship, saying I've never had anyone. For the last 7 years I've just put a music track on there because people were getting nasty with me and threatened to smash me out or put a knife in me because of the information content that's on that CD cover, so I stopped doing it. It's just a music track, and it's usually the Alliance First Impressions on Reinforced Records, which was originally released on Legend Records in 1993 before being released on Enforcers 6 Rivet something catalogue number, and that's basically the best track on there. So initially she was trying to make hints saying that you want sex with me, and saying I want sex with you as well. So I thought, yeah, but it was in situations or times where people were getting nasty with me, or people were starting on me, giving me threats before the Savem threat came in, and then obviously in that time period the Savem threat came in. She got in a relationship with someone called Mike. She had 2 ginger-haired boys. That person called Mike went to shout to say he's going to fucking smash me in, thinking I was Savem and all the rest of it. And then she started avoiding me when I went to Tesco's, but it's very rare I ever saw her in there. And then not long after that, even Lauren herself, or Lauren or whatever it is, made a couple of threats herself here and there, and obviously for the last how many years I've not seen her at all. So that's how it goes when it comes to that curse painting. But what they have done is they've reissued that painting on postcards, which I saw at Martok in 2023. And when I was speaking to the lady in there a couple of days later, or whenever it was I went there to get the picture, she said it's a new picture that's been there. So she gave me the artist's name, but unfortunately I lost the paper, and it was months later before I went back. And when I went there again, they were making remarks, claiming I was Savem, telling me I'm a sick fucker. And when I asked a question with the same lady I spoke to initially the first time, she just had an attitude problem with me. So I thought, alright, I'll look on the internet, and from that time onwards I never found it. I couldn't purchase it on the day, you see, because I didn't take it in. It was a hot sunny day in general, and I just didn't take the information in on that picture. And as I was walking to the bus stop, I thought I should have photographed that, or I should have got it, but I didn't think straight. All I was thinking at the time is I remember that picture being on the internet suggesting Laura or Lauren or whatever, and when I got to the bus stop there's only a few minutes left, and I thought I'm not going to make it home otherwise, because the last bus was at 4:20 PM from Martok to Yeovil back in that time period. So that's how that story goes. But yeah, on the actual time period when this occurred, it's basically where they curse me with the sunshine every single day. But the problem is, although they're doing it in a sort of sexual way, they're violating me with the sexual curse of that painting. However, they continue to cause that sun to be around me, but without the sex, which shouldn't be happening if you're actually being cursed in a sexual way. So I don't understand why that's occurring. And obviously when I was doing some recordings, going back, YouTube disabled my account because I got evidence of the sun being around me all day, holding a bus ticket, and obviously filming the Sun newspaper from the garage or whatever. And I put the whole lot together of that one day, and I put it on the same day on the internet, and that's where they blocked my account. And also, they were mentioning that no one in the UK would have seen the sun today on the weather forecast. You know, so that's what they were doing. And it's like that every day. There's only about 6 24-hour days of some form of hazy sunshine, cloudy or rainy weather of the whole of 2023. The same for 2024, maybe an extra 24 hours or 48 hours, but definitely no more than that for the whole year. That is out of 365 days or whatever it was. And obviously this year you've had the equivalent to about 5 days, actually 6 days. So it's a bit better this year, but this is for everybody, you know. This is when it's really sort of cloudy weather. Otherwise, yeah, they're still doing what they're doing with the sun curse, like today for example, or whatever. So, and the other day when I phoned my mum up and she said it was cloudy all day there and whatever, so it's still happening, and I'm still not getting the sex of the promised cursed painting of this suggestion. Also, if we go into 2024, these setups were suggesting, or this organised force around me is saying, you want to start war with this painting, we're going to make our fucking message to you known, and that is, we're going to rip you to pieces, we're going to hit you off, we're going to fucking destroy you, and telling me to have sex with people that raped me as a child as a replacement to the genuine sex curse of this specific painting, and just getting nasty like that. However, there has been some better suggested sexual suggestions if we go back 3 weeks ago, or around that sort of time period, but it's for a 3-day period lingering into a 6-day slot. But one of those days, which I think is the 5th day out of the 6, was just negative, nasty, malicious setups, even though I went to the same place. And then obviously you've had sexual suggestions thrown in here and there, but most of it's just complete nastiness and maliciousness, as it always is when it comes to this organised force against me. Right, dark red time, dark red. I'm from Treacle Farm, shot dead, you paedophile, ain't nothing left said. Obviously you've got Seagull saying fuck Gadar, having a break-in repeatedly. Seagull saying molested Kimberly when I've never had sex with Kim. Shot dead child molester. Seagull says shot dead Justin. Amy Weston hates you repeatedly, and that's what's happened in the last 5 minutes. Got some threats. No, so it's calmed down. It started off with a couple of threats to say, you're fucking gone, you're fucking child molester, you're being fucking knifed down, something like that. And also, after the previous thing that occurred down Rex's Hollow Lane, or road or whatever it is, at Barrack, at Treacle Farm, the threat that occurred, Crow goes, ha ha you bastard, just a voice sound of that. Right, so this road's a bit busier than usual. Hang on a second. So, dark red, grey, shot, you're gone, burglary said, started car, you're a paedophile, shot dead. Grey sexual car and a greeny, not turquoise is it? Sexual car as well. They seem to be heavier with the setups this time today than what it has been recently. Life by Scott. Her brain's head. Right, so a bird tweets you molested Sadie repeatedly, and then it stops as I try and audio record the evidence. So I just had a meeting with the mental health team. I've just been speaking about my alcohol problem and my smoking. So they were suggesting that I get help, and I think I'm going to go with that if I can't get to grips with it by this time next week. So I told them that, because obviously, you know, it's getting serious. I am getting bad for it, I really am. Anyway, there's a few setups and threats before the meeting, and no threats after the meeting, but there's been some setups. So let's kick on with it. Right, Bo whistles. Sick just being stabbed. Sicko just said. Bonus allowed bike. Gonna get him, child rapist he is, said. Fucking knifing him. No, fucking knife him, said. Get him busted, shouted. You're 40, Justin, said by an owl. Somerset Waste Partnership. Another flying creature, says Spastic. White van, grey. Knifed by Scott. Durbrain. Said, I think that's what was said. I think he said Durbrain after. I didn't quite catch it clearly, to be fair. So black, red, paedophile sicko shouldn't be in the graveyard, said. Penis ups allowed bikes. Dark red car. Same again. White. Black sexual car. Grey, blue. Catalytic converter stench. Black, white, grey, black and blue. Yellow car, a Shield van, the Godfather van, Davies Turner tanker. Yeah, black, red, blue, sick colour car. Just to confirm, written on the side of a van. That's not the company name. It just says that on the side of it. And then there's a sexual car that follows that. Right, so I've been to the Spa shop. And at the moment it seems that they want to time loud bikes to erections. Right, so Seagull says knife dead, ha ha ha, Justin. A crow says you're not supposed to be with Grace, Justin. There's 5 different Graces I know, but whatever Grace it is not relevant. Right, flying creature says ha ha ha, being knifed, no one left, child rapist. Grey car, a light blue car. This is interesting, but although there might be a car that says Lauren on the side of it, or to apply that Lauren curse with the sunshine curse or whatever I mentioned, or Lauren that wanted to try and say that she fancied me in Tesco's going back a decade ago, the later setups while walking back from the Spa shop turns out to be really fucking nasty. So after the Lauren car, you had the Poker Face van, Pond Repairs van, Upwards and Onwards, Blue Learner car. There's a granny that's wearing a t-shirt that says this is your last chance. Drains hit over, grey, 4 started cars, New Key van, dark red knife shape timed, and this is where the setup starts to turn nasty. To the rescue top, date links top, that's one word. So it's like a black top with white and whatever might have been red writing, I can't remember the colour. In a started car, literally plumb hole, Sabona and loud bike at the same time, 8 times loud. Started car, next loud bike to erection, grey car started, then white pulls up, remaining started. 2 leaf van, that's leaf as in like leaves. Spit talking at me by these unhygienic tough looking faces. Penis shoots up a loud bike while looking through the shop door window. ML van, baby in a sling at me. 3 started cars, Willie up, so 9 times loud bike. And then after that, started cars, red car, started car again, baby in a sling, possibly the cheering van. I couldn't see the wording on the cheering van, but it looked like the cheering van. A black and blue timed, then black and blue timed again, a black car going past me, and a blue Sectoral car smashed over a drain cover after. A grey car, bonus and bicycle, so time to erection. A girl on a bike, aged about 8, is possessed to say Savenne getting hyped, dead. Didn't say knifed, she said hyped. But regardless of what she's saying, there's a possibility that she's being told to say that, to apply knife, by her father or whatever's causing her to say it. And obviously I'm not Savenne, but I'm being mistaken for that person. Black monster gun looking car, grey car trying to smash into me, rent-a-kill van, fucking going van. Well, it's not fucking going, it's FKG going van. A bit like the FK van or whatever you want to call it. And then finally there's a jail looking vehicle timed. So that's the setups going to the Spar shop and reaching this back path. So a little bit more spiteful than it usually is, mixed with the suggestion of sex. But the problem is, when it comes to sex, nothing ever comes true about it. And obviously at the same time, it's like mixed setups, but it's more towards extremely malicious at the moment. I don't know how many fucking times I've got to do this recording, but I keep fucking up on it. I'm a little bit pissed off at the moment, because some of this stuff that's happening is like stuff that people are not going to believe because of how sly it's being set up by the creator god, or by the government, or whoever's doing it. So obviously I've just had some raw garlic. I didn't expect to be eating raw garlic, because I didn't realise that what I bought had raw garlic in it. But it doesn't matter, it's good for you. It just leaves my mouth smelling a little bit for a few days. But anyway, so we got a man about the age of 60, posh sort of dressed person, you know, the type that wear blazers. He didn't have a blazer, but that sort. Where he said this: "Stop looking at 20-year-old kids, you pervert." Right, I go to mention this Lauren, this Tesco curse lady, the one I mentioned earlier on in this recording, when it comes to the son and sexual curses, and the fact that she fancied me and wanted sex with me, but it never happened because before the time came, it was too late, because she turned against me. And in the time period when I first knew her, when she was trying to hint this, and I was trying to sort of hint back, they were timing enemies or rough people to cause trouble, to turn her against me, or to cause me to have to leave the scene. And then obviously she started turning against me, and that's the end of that, basically, as mentioned in the recording of this, what I'm doing now earlier on. Anyway, as I was documenting this, before I deleted it, there's a lady aged about 60 that passed me, and she got a bit funny with me and said this: "I know exactly who you were referring to. She's 37. Now lay off," and just can't remember what else she said, and then said just get the fuck away, or you won't know what's hit you, basically. So if she knows who this Lauren is, then obviously she's 37. She said Lauren, sorry, not Lauren. Guess what happened straight after this, and I'm not making this up. There's a t-shirt that says, "Leave the kids alone." And then what happens after that? There's a van saying 65. What's 65? A granny, God, you stupid cunt. Right, and then after that, it gets even better, and I'm not making this up. You've got a t-shirt that's similar to the Suncurse t-shirt. So these are cartoon characters. So you've got a picture of a fairy shining the sun down on these young couple, teenage couple possibly. So you're like a blonde lady that's smiling, and a man who's sort of posing smiley, I guess. And they're drinking on with straws, you know, juice drinks with straws, on a white plastic table with an umbrella on a beach. So that's interesting, isn't it? Another Suncurse sexual suggested t-shirt to the painting I mentioned. And then what happens after that? Monster van timed again. Timed. Right, so there's 3 ladies on a Zimmer frame timed in my direction. These are old people, obviously, and it's clever how it's done. So they're like walking in a row. It wasn't side by side, it's one after the other. and the motion and slowness was in a suggestion as I was walking around the corner on the section of a path. After that, adults van timed, sad written on the side of a van, and I'm not making that up. Up the age van timed, the 65 van is timed again, Chic Baxter van, Purvis van, black, white, sick, colour car, as I look towards the main road, I don't know if it is, but it looks like the lorry that says, well, it's a flatbed lorry, and it says smash you to pieces, which is like a rubble smasher type vehicle. After that, there's about 80 cars while looking up there, and they were set up about 90% of every car making a suggestion on that road, and about 90% for suggestion of every vehicle. One of those cars was gun looking. A sheep says Seven dead. I'm not Seven, but obviously that's what it needs to say. And then it says lying dead. Right, so time to an erection. There's a loud bike, but I want to mention something else. An animal, it's that animal there in fact, is saying fuck your far, and then after that there's a giggle like ee, which is not a normal sound that I hear. I mean, still a bit squawky, but the voice sounds have dropped, and the giggle. There we are. Yeah, it comes to a stop every time I get the evidence. My crow's saying to kind of. It's not. I'll leave this on record. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I want to get the evidence. I'm not sure what it's going to say. There's several things it's saying. I can tell you now, the Creator God is fucking sick. An evil bastard that's cruel. God is taking the piss on sexuality and trying to crucify me on sexuality. No, I've not had anyone, that's why he's doing it. He fell when I was a child. God was taking the piss when I was abused as a child, causing seagulls and crows to go, ooh, ooh. You know, causing those types of sounds while being sexually abused as a child. So, you know, just going to leave it on record just for a little bit longer. Because what happens is, every time I push record, the sounds come to a stop, and that's what's happening now. So just keep it on. Right, I would have pushed stop about now. think you can say the Creator God's messed up on this specific one, because it's not great. The voice sounds not great. It's still squawky, but there's still a bit of suggestion in that. Right, see if I can get it. I'm going to have to leave this on record just for a few seconds. I need to get this voice on. Basically, what's happened now is, while walking back in the direction I've just gone down to, I passed that tree again, where I was audio recording the last clip. At this minute in time, basically they're saying that whatever's doing it, a crow or whatever, is basically telling me that I'm not going to have sex in my next life and I'm being sexually abused as a child in my next life, but also saying that I'm going to go to the fire of hell, and I need to get that evidence. But the problem is, it looks like it suddenly goes to a complete stop. Let me just run this. Hang on. Might come from a bird instead. Just as I was about to stop the recording, but it's not materialising at the moment. When this was occurring like just now, this was clear as day. Any human could pick up that language, what it said. There was some hints of saying Jesus has turned, or Jesus. We got shot down. I just heard that. It said shot down just. But again, it's not clear. When I'm saying good voice sounds, yeah, I'm referring to like really clear sounds. When it comes to these really clear sounds, it all stops, you know. It's like the Creator knows that you're recording it, or God knows you're recording it, and God doesn't want you to get the evidence, so He's disguising it and causing it to happen when I haven't got the evidence. Right, so the last 45 minutes I've been on new territory. So usually I go to the end point, which goes to the closed off path, which eventually goes towards West Coker. Now that path's permanently closed, and obviously they put a no entry sign there as construction work is taking place in that area. However, before it's closed off, you could go further down that path, and then eventually it would go onto a road, and then another road, and then it'd take you onto the West Coker road to take you to West Coker, which is about half a mile further on. Well, I've taken a new route today, and I'm not exactly sure where I went, but I was just trialling out another path. And when I was trialling out that other path, it looks like the farmer has closed the path off and put some poles and fence in there with a sign to say private property, where the public footpath sign is, and it says it's a quarter of a mile to West Coker. Now I don't need to go to West Coker because it's not a place I see as very good. It's just a place that I passed on the bus, which is just outside of the Oval, a couple of miles, something like that. So yeah. Anyway, let's get back to the setups that have occurred. Not been too suggestive, but there's a few bits and pieces here and there, and some irrelevant stuff as well. So you could have some bow whistles, pinky and purple van, started car. A car forces me in the other direction. As I go in that other direction, I see a Stephanie Hill, Stephanie Jill lookalike, who's that lady that went to Elmwood School, and the lady people have accused me of trying to rape in the past. Now obviously I've spoken to this Stephanie, but not until recent times, just to speak in general, because obviously I had to wait until all these allegations and threats died off of the threats that began in 2006 area or whatever. Anyway, she speaks, but not great, because obviously she's got mental health problems, or she doesn't know me or whatever, so it's like that, and obviously she has a boyfriend. So, also the Sadie threat died out as well before I moved to Yeovil. But 6 months after I moved to Yeovil, the threat increased, and the threat is worse today than when it was at its peak back in the day when I was getting it years ago when I was living in Bridgewater. Anyway, there's a co-op lorry, no suggestion there as such, Pickles van, Leeks conservatory van, an orange car. I'm not quite sure what it said on this car. I think it's Lordanium. I'm not quite sure what that means. That's how it looks, that's how I wrote it down anyway, even if it is slightly out. You had a car saying Fina bag. Mims van, that's the same Mims van that's in Glastonbury, or the one I see at Glastonbury on a regular basis. Oggy van, OGGY, Julia Lerner car, blue car timed, blue sexual car timed, black mixed with blue, and the crow says shot dead. Right, so I've just been speaking to John on the phone, but just before that there was a Don't Rough It, Smooth It van, and a van with a comical looking face picture on it done in an intelligent way, which is like a, you know, whatever you want to call it. So anyway, I spoke to John. You're probably not going to like what I'm going to say, but you've got to take into account that all my enemies have been with teenagers, so it makes no difference what I'm about to say anyway. Even those that are threatening to kill me, you know, 20 years ago they all were teenagers, you know. All the enemies today have been with teenagers. They made all these teenagers single mothers, they've all been with blondes. So it doesn't make any difference about John really. So obviously he suffers from paedophilia. So I respect that, because obviously, you know, everyone else are funny. And no doubt in the question there. So he wants to make hip-hop tracks, but he wants to involve his own lyrics to it. There's a lot of stuff I can't really tell him about or talk about, because I just can't find any wording to describe some of the stuff that he wants to talk about. But he believes that it should become more commercial, and he should have a new way of laying out the entire hip-hop scene, starting off with underground tracks that he's producing himself. But he needs lyrical backgrounds, that's the thing. He's got, sound background. He's got the lyrics, and he has got the talent in some ways to do this. And being that sort of way inclined, people are going to want that sort of stuff, so that's going to sell big time. Even if he can't get it commercial, he'll make a lot of money on it if he can put an album together with the rap tunes that he calls paedophile rap. Anyway, going off that subject, let's talk about sexuality when it comes to me. Obviously I've never had anyone. I've never had sex with kids. I've never molested anyone. And I've never really managed to get sex at all in my whole life. The only sex I've had is actually being sexually abused as a child. And being 43 years of age, it's not going to be easy to find anyone, because people keep on moaning about the age gap. But they shouldn't be doing that, because obviously these people, you know, these women are telling me that I've got to go with their mistakes, and like saying I don't give a fuck about you. They're saying you've got to go with a stale piece of shit, you've got to go with a used woman. Yes, you might have a disease, so fucking what? That's all you're going to get at your age. You know, it's that fucking attitude. You've got to go with a piece of shit. No, you're not going to enjoy the sex. If you can even have someone that give you sex. You're not supposed to have sex at 40, or over the age of 40. It's all that stupid, brainless fucking attitude against me all the time. Yeah, of course you've got to go with the zombie-looking type. Of course you've got to go with the toff-looking faces, which I nicknamed toffs, which is T-O-F-F, which is those that look unhygienic and laugh in a backwards way, or posing as if they're going to cough hard over you, and fat build, you know, got like wrinkly faces, or a rashy skin and warts, or, you know, this sort of attraction I don't fucking take to. There's no way. I mean, I can't even sit at a dinner table next to a person that looks like this, let alone being able to fancy them or have sex with them. And when you've never had anyone in your whole life, and people have told me this in the past, not in recent times, but they have told me in the past that yes, you should be entitled to someone you can fancy and someone that's good looking, especially if things like that have happened to you. And some people have actually been quite angry about this when I'm, revealed this information about what's happened to me as a child. I just don't give names or whatever, because I don't want to cause issues if these people are still alive or whatever. But yeah, they told me if that sort of thing's happened to you, you're the top priority to having someone, and you're entitled to something. But the problem is, this was mentioned over 10 years ago, and my life's got worse since that time, especially since the lockdown when they stepped up all this organised force against me. Yeah, I can't take that type. I mean, when I went on dating sites, even just 10 years ago, no, a bit more than that now, 15 years ago, all I was putting on there is I'm single, looking for a woman that's good enough to be able to fancy, basically, but I used a politer term than that, and obviously I would prefer someone that's not a single parent. And all these women were going on my profile, having to dig in like fucking anything, 15 years ago. And I was sort of trying to explain, but you can't do it without being polite. I mean, without, and you just have to say, you're trying to say, was not, you can't really say nothing, but it's their mistakes, I shouldn't be responsible for their mistakes and being told to go with, whatever. So the lady on the horse, somewhere about 18 to 22, something like that, young lady. If I left a recorder on for 3 more seconds, she would have said Jesus, and then she sort of laughed, but not exactly sure what the full conversation is, because I couldn't hear clearly, because obviously it was difficult to hear. So you had a couple of more people pass, there's been no problems there. So it's basically waiting now to see what occurs on the roundabout up ahead, because at the moment there's currently no setups on the road where there can be 45 minutes to an hour with no traffic, as I say. And I call it that road because that's what it was like in November after 6 PM in the evening. But since I've been on this road since, quite literally there hasn't been a time, I don't think, where I've walked on this road without a vehicle timed. Maybe just once out of loads of times. So, Right, so at the roundabout you've had several vehicles, but I couldn't see what the name is on the side until I got closer. And then after that you had Cloud9 lorry, which is like got ice pictures on it, like what do you call it? Snowflake ices, or whatever you call it. A black jail looking vehicle. Penis shoots up, so I'm getting an erection and they need to time a bike. Road bikes on the car roof upright. Lots more black and blue, red, whatever colour the cars are. Bateman van, and to another erection. Bike from behind. And now I'm on the next section. Right, so we've reached that part of the evening where the setup should be dying down slightly. However, that's not always the case. There's a few loud bike issues, tying to erections or whatever. I have spoken to P Neighbour on the phone earlier on. He's out in the garden having a beer and listening to some of his rock, heavy metal or whatever, and enjoying that and enjoying the sunshine while we got it, because obviously we've got rain after tomorrow. So I respect him for that, even though I'm not keen on that sort of weather. Not when it comes to taking pictures of specific things anyway. I'm more of a cloudy day person. But like I said, I'm adjustable, I'm flexible to any weather conditions depending on what I'm doing. So anyway, let's give you some idea of what today's setups are like, because they're not your regular setups. They seem to be coming out in sections. So when a malicious setup occurs, it's not suddenly fading out and then slowly fading in to the next lot of setups. It's just happening rapidly. The next setup is the next setup, basically. So you're coming out of one setup and negative suggestions, and then you're going into some positive setups. So for example, like earlier, you were getting suggestions like, oh, you're a garlic boy, oh, it's your lucky night tonight, this will turn all the girls on for you, you know, and then it would go into a sudden setup of full maliciousness, anything from suggestion, oh, we're going to rip you to pieces, we're going to slice your wrist with the creator God, we're going to make sure you get sexually abused as a child in your next life, you're not having sex in your next life, we're going to fucking tear you apart in your next life, we're going to commit manslaughter on you, we're going to make your life a living hell, you're living up to your name just in time, serve time, live up to your name and serve time, we're going to rip you to pieces, we're going to play about with you in a fireplace with poker sticks, we sliced your wrist with a creator God or whatever, you know, we're going to go absolutely psycho on you, we're going to rage on you, we're going to go absolutely murderous on you, we're going to go absolutely psychotic and psychopathic on you, we're going to rage, we're the fucking wild heads, you know, they're just going on and going on, you know, the suggestions are just like that, and you get about 10 or 15 suggestions like that, and then suddenly it'll drop back into the sexual suggestions, like, oh, hang on a minute, it's your lucky night again, oh, you're going to get sex for the first time in your whole life tonight, oh, it's going to be very good, and then it just go back into this malicious setup again to reply, oh, we're going to rip you to pieces, we're going to destroy you, we're trying to hit you off, we're going to get a couple of cars to smash into you, we've got an overhanging trailer to, you know, try and rip your legs off from behind, or we're going to put some rough people or enemies in your path to try and smash you up, to hit you off, you know, and like that. And then you get the next phase where it possibly go back into the sexual setups again, like I just said. So you get like 3 or 4 good suggestions, and then you'll get 10 or 15 nasty suggestions, but at times here and there there's also been some neutral suggestions that don't make any suggestion at all, but are like fillers in the gaps of where the setups are not suggesting the other 2 setups. For example, there was one section that occurred earlier with just grocery store names, you know, names that don't really make any suggestion, like the Co-op lorry, the Pickles van, the Leeks Conservatory van, the Mims van, and the Laudanium car. I'm not sure what Laudanium means, but I think it is the name of a plant, and I don't know what Mims means either. But anyway, these would be like light suggestions that just occur, and then obviously as soon as that's occurred, straight in with either that really nasty setup that I just mentioned, or that short period of time of good suggestions applying sexual suggestions or whatever. But all in all, most times when these setups occur, it's just one roll of things in one day. It's just one suggestion right through the whole day usually, and it's usually malicious, nasty and outright raging. Today's basically been partitioned off into sections, as I was saying, but earlier on they were making the suggestion, oh, you're a sick bastard, you suffer from paedophilia if it's a lady that's under the age of 65, and saying that anyone that fancies a lady under the age of 65 is a paedophile, and saying that you're really sick, fucking sick, you've got to go, you've got to be shot, you're fucking sick, you know, literally giving it some. But you know, you can't help the way the creator God, the elite, or the government are setting this up. You know, I'm not sure what's going to happen later on, but that's the basis of today so far. Shot dead loony, photographed by someone in a white van with the registration plate EA70BJX, but there's no threats or anything else. I have to mention that just in case there's any future problems with all the shit that's going around at the moment. I'm not saying this is anyone causing trouble, but there's been a lot of problems at the moment with threats and whatever. Red mixed with black van, Shiko van, that's spelled S-H-I-C-K-O or S-H-I-K-O, I can't remember what the spelling was. Bonus allowed bike, van saying 65 on the side of it, black and then white car. Then you've got the laughing armchair van, which is a picture of a boastful looking designed armchair picture that looks like it's very pleased and grateful, posing in a posh way for, you know, for how the posh would pose. A seagull says break in, van with a very old person wearing a hat and holding a walking stick, 3 blue cars, dead said, tying to erection, 12 loud bikes in the last short period of time, and burglary child rapist said. Right, earlier on, I mentioned that the mental health team came to see me. Now, I just want to give you a bit more information regarding giving up smoking and drinking. Well, I had my last roll up today, and it happened when I was speaking to my dad on the phone, or just after that. Whether I do buy any, it's usually occurring when I've had too much to drink and I walk to the 24-hour garage. So I've got to stop that, and I've also got to cut down on the vodka. We were discussing, would I ever give up the lager, because obviously I would definitely be drinking, but just smaller amounts if I stopped the vodka at some point. So going back 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago now, it's more likely to be somewhere around 15 years ago now, actually, I'm not sure, but I was speaking to the psychiatric doctor, and I was saying that I'd give up the beer in the evening and wouldn't drink those 3 beers at night if I had a partner, a sex partner. So I thought to myself, if that, if the change took place and that, I would consider stopping the drinking altogether. But also, going back to that time period, I was talking to the doctor, and we were discussing my journal of writing stuff down when I go out in the street. And also I was talking about photographing setups, or construction force coming out as a suggestion, or audio recording threats, or whatever else, animal voice sounds, to put in my life story, deep depression pack, or whatever you want to call it. I said I'd stop all that if I got a partner, but I said it would have to be someone that's got a sexy, smooth skin, a beautiful lady, someone that's not a single mother, and someone I'm adaptable to, and someone I can enjoy sex with to a point of being good enough to what happened to me when I was sexually abused as a child. And unless that can take place, I said I'm not going to be able to stop all this. I'm not going to be able to stop the drinking, the journal writing problems down when I go out, or whatever else. And that's a gunshot, by the way. So the doctor agreed in some ways, but he said it's very difficult because everyone's in a relationship, so he sort of agreed. But he says there are people out there. But he says you have to look at it on the principle as if you don't get anyone, and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, let's move on a bit in time, shall we? Because today, that won't be possible. Not at my age. You might get someone that you can have sex with, but you're not going to get someone where you can really enjoy sex with. Because obviously, enemies have stopped me getting anyone, or they can been complaining about my age, and the fact that I'm 43 coming up 44 years of age, people are just not going to allow it. So when it comes to writing problems down when I go out, or photographing setups, or stating loud bikes tying to erections, or audio recording animal voice sounds and threats or whatever else, or drinking my beer in the evenings, it's never going to stop for the rest of my life unless a miracle changes that. Now, I don't believe in miracles, and I don't know tying a bike to an erection. Hang on. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Right, so it's kicking off with threats. Aggressive shouting at the moment. It's distant, but it's aggressive. So obviously 4 more loud bikes to erections, more gunshots, being shot dead, raped, Paul, you child, rapist said. If they're referring to Paul Lloyd, I've never had sex with him. Orange van. A van saying it's personal. Vanessa car. A t-shirt saying sexual satisfaction worn by a teenage girl with her family visiting a gravestone. Knife him dead shouted in temper. Crows says what sounds like fucker. Are a paedophile going fucking funny shouted aggressively by some bloke. After that, knife him in. Tonight, strange bloke said. I'll just keep it on record, see if I can get any evidence. Whether there could be anything else shouted. The problem is, I could have it on 5 minutes and there might not be anything. Let's just leave it for a minute though. there's a bit of shouting. As I said, it's more distant than what it was like just now. That's different shouting, by the way, but it sounded like my name was mentioned. Right, definitely going, Justin shouted. It's starting to turn nasty now. Everything going, shot down, burglary shouted. Seagull says knife you down, child rapist. Fucking paedophile, everything lost said. Time to an erection, loud bike. Someone says government. The same person says smash you out a few seconds later. Seagull says going to hell, molested Stephanie Jill when I've never had sex with her. You gave everyone chickenpox said. In 2013 I caught chickenpox, and it's likely to be that teenage single mother on the bus, but at the time I didn't know it's contagious by air, so that's probably why I got it. So I wasn't very happy about that, but obviously I did keep myself to myself the best I could. But obviously if that's what they're referring to, then I can't help what people cause, you know. Anyway, penis up motorbike. Sick cunt being knifed dead. Chasing Rebecca said. Fister said, oh dear, everyone's over 40 said. Gonna fucking knife the fucker. Keeps putting up DJ Rap on his Facebook. Sick fucker. Not supposed to be with that type now said. Well, DJ Rap was actually born in 1969. I was born in 1981, so she's actually older than me. But the people that saw whatever it is on my Facebook are still complaining about it. Right, Sneak Van, spelled S-N-E-E-K. No, I didn't see that properly to guarantee that's what it said, because I only just caught a glimpse of it, but that's what it looked like it said. Then there's a dumper truck my way. Dog barks breaking, lost a lot. Justin, molested Steph. Grey and white, and then bike time to erection. Right, I've just deleted a fucking video where I'm fucking about because I've hurt my leg and I've got like a pulled muscle that's fucking occurred. We're not very happy with the setups that have been happening this evening, especially in the last half hour. So if I can get a say, that is, I'll tell you what it is. So we've got a bird saying molested Wayne, so we're bringing up the Wayne business. Right after that, penis up loud bike. Dead said 14 more loud bike issues. Blue car timed. Justin dead, he's Saven said when that's not my name. Knife or life. Lost shouted. Philophile van timed. Up the age van. 65 van. Black then white. Learner car timed. A spastic push my way. Bonus the next motorbike, then same again. Bow whistles. Paedophile said. Penis ups at 9 times loud bike. Bird says molested Sadie weed when I've never had sex with Sadie. Saven said by a bird. You're shot down, Justin. Penis shoots up to loud bike. Bird says haha, just lost your life. Just, you child molester. 65 van timed again. Do you understand, van? Granny with a pink top timed out of her house. My way. Catalytic converter stench. Being shot. Head's gone, just said. So hot said by an animal while discussing Wayne business. Initially. Bike timed. Bird says, you're a paedophile, aren't you, just? Dog barks, being shot, life's gone. Right, so I've just come out of the Stowford bar. You've got Stowford and Barwick, and I've never been in that bar before. In actual fact, it's extremely rare going in that area at all, so I thought I'd check it out, and had a Zambuca shot, which is naughty. There hasn't been much trouble. The road was pretty quiet when I went there, and there was no threats when I was in there. Someone says I know who he is. He fancies children. Mistaken identity, possibly. There's a purple car timed, and then a purple mixed with white, and then there's a Tesco van. This Tesco van's getting very interesting at the moment, because in the evenings, it happened yesterday when I went to the garage to get some fags. But the thing is, they got to think of a replacement if they want to suggest this suggestion when it comes to the sun curse or whatever. Because this Lauren's taken. This Lauren's a single mother. She's married. She's with Mike. So I don't fucking know how they're going to do that. At the age I am, 43, coming up 44. If they think they're so clever and think they can do it, then well, that would shock me. But I have my doubts. Anyway, there's a bit of music I'm playing on my headphones just to clarify the track in case you don't know what it is or you like the music. It's called Rough with the Smooth, Twisted Girl, and it's on Basement Records. And I wouldn't say commercial, but it's not that underground, but it's in between. It's also on Dance Trance DJ Ratty, the wedding anniversary 25th of the 6th 1994 mix, which I've only just found out in recent times, by the way, to the Dance Trance tape that I had with a World on a Pendulum, which says Dance Trance the Future. Most of the tapes that I was buying back in its day were Mission Control mixes, but that specific one's the wedding anniversary. So I've made it to the catalytic converter hot point. There's been sexual cars, mostly sexual. I have 17 cars. There's not record breaking, but it's a high amount. It didn't occur, initially as I just walked past now, but it was a build-up of as I was reaching there, basically. I've hurt my leg and I'm just very annoyed at the moment because it's difficult to walk. It's like a pulled muscle or something. I don't know what the fuck is causing it. Anyway, we're on the dark side of the jungle scene. Track's called Wax Doctor. Logical Progression. It's on a CD called Face of the Future on Breakdown Records. And it's the second track in from the Full SP The Process, produced by Sponge and Pascal. This is what is known as early jungle, dark jungle. I'm only playing this for you because I've reached the breakdown part. Prior to that, a couple of other tracks that I've listened to tonight. Rough with the Smooth, Twisted Girl on Basement Records. Grunge and Spin Back the Execution for just a few seconds. Legend Records. I'm trying to think what I listened to earlier. The FBD Project, Journeys on Banging Tunes. And prior to that, I think the first track I listened to this evening is... what was it? It was Pesce Warning on Reinforced Records. Obviously, I'm not smoking tonight, so I feel a bit healthier. But I'm still drinking, that's a problem. This is going to take time, it's not going to be simple. There's some days where I do actually enjoy having a drink, doing a walk or whatever, so, but I've got to get to grips with it because otherwise I'm ugly dead. Keep on doing this, I'm not going to last much longer. But I guess my life's not improving, is it? That's a problem. There's activities or things you can do, but when it comes to like girlfriends or whatever, it's a little bit difficult, and it's sort of, when that's the main thing that you've been looking for all your life, it's not happening, it's sort of a bit of a tricky one. But anyway, I'll leave it there on that section. Right, so I've, like I was saying, I've done something to my leg. So the Creator God is a back-bending bastard, a spine-smashing cunt, and wants to break my fucking legs, causing rough people to be in my direction when this fucking problem occurs. Crawty cunt, sneaky fucking cunt, sly bastard, you fucking tearaway Christ, you sneaky little bastard, you fucking clever hoaxer bastard, crawty cunt, you fucker, you absolute crawty fucker Christ, you sexual slaughter fucking ice axing bastard, fire staking bastard. Well, I'm in pain. Well, God doesn't want me to walk. Alright, I'll sit in a wheelchair then, Christ. I'm buckled. Alright, I'm the one that's fucking buckled. Wanna work symbolic? You cold ice bastard. I can do exactly the same, Christ. I can rip you to fucking pieces. I can smash your fucking bones up. I can put you in dull pain of a fucking excessive level. And I can single you out and put you in a place where there's nothing about, with no one around, and fucking torture you, bastard. That's what you're doing to my fucking leg, you cunt. Yeah, and I'm black to sick. Christ. Black sick. Fucking car timed. You outright nasty bastard. You fucking tearaway, you crawty cunt God. So I'm looking forward to Jesus Christ raping me in the guts in and out of me, forcing me to sexually enjoy Jesus Christ fucking me through paedophiles in my next life. Obviously the bastard's fucking my leg up, and obviously he wants to destroy me, he wants my fucking leg, and he wants to put all rough people in my direction walking back so that he can smash me out and fucking fuck me up, and you know the bastard can't help it. That's the Creator God for you. Jehovah, Yahweh, Allah. One malicious bastard at the coldest degree in murder. And Justin, you're getting knifed. That's exactly what people need to do. They need to shoot me dead, they need to knife me, so that Jesus Christ can rape the guts in and out of me as a child in my next life, while stopping me get sex all my life, like in this life, and then rip me to fucking pieces to worstest degree as a cold cunt, because that's the way Jehovah works and Yahweh works.